Hello, and welcome to the Keys to Success show. I am super excited. My name is Ms Haqiah Lee, full-time real estate entrepreneur based out of the Atlanta, Georgia area, and host of the Keys to Success show. Of course, as you know, we interview local business professionals and entrepreneurs to discuss some of their keys to success in their business and in their life. Today, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome to the show Miss Lorraine Bistro. She's a full-time real estate investor, full-time real estate agent based here out of the Atlanta, Georgia area. And she's the host of a really phenomenal women's group. So again, it is your girl, Miss Lee. Everyone tune in, tell a friend. We are going live here at 12 noon. And Lorraine is actually going to be joining us here shortly. Of course, you know, this show is live, so at times there's technical difficulties, and that is okay. We still proceed forward despite the technical difficulties that we may experience. And hold on one moment here. And let me just check and see where Miss Lorraine is. Hope you guys are having an amazing afternoon. Definitely tune in and tell a friend, share the stream, let them know that the Keys to Success show is on live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. And let's see what's going on here. Okay. But yeah, so if anyone has any questions while we wait for Lorraine to jump on the air, definitely feel free to drop your questions down for Lorraine or for myself as well. Again, I'm a full-time real estate entrepreneur based out of the Atlanta, Georgia area and author. I have a new book coming out called Clear to Close. Super excited about it. I put a lot of work into that book over the last year. It started off super easy, and now that the finish line, super excited to get it into the hands of all of the people who have pre-purchased. A big shout out to all of the pre-sale purchasers. Michael Mack, thank you, sir. You purchased 10 copies for your students there in the North Carolina area. Super excited to get those books in your hand. And to everyone else who's purchased your copy, thank you guys so very much for your support. Thank you for just, standing behind me and your patience as you wait for the book to be released. I spoke with one of the ladies who purchased her copy yesterday, and she expressed how excited she is to get the book in her hands. So I'm super excited to get it into your hands as well. Like I said, I put a lot of work into it, and it's going to be good to just give my take on how the real estate wholesaling industry works. Of course, as you guys may or may not know, I'm a full-time real estate entrepreneur. I wholesale real estate. We do buy and hold, and lots of other creative finance techniques as well. So super excited to share those things with you guys as we wait for Lorraine to join the live stream. And I'm not quite sure. I know last time we had her on the air, and that's why this is part 2. We had a bit of technical difficulties. And at times, like you guys know, in business and in life, there are technical difficulties that come up. No matter what, you keep moving forward, and you just, go with the flow. And as the big word that I've heard a lot in 2020 is pivot. You pivot. You continue to just adjust and, adjust things within your business and within your life as the difficulties come up, so that they are, so that they don't affect what you've got going on in your business, and you can still proceed forward. I know a lot of times in life, things happen and you can get flustered and you can, just blame and all the other crazy things that happen. But instead, I believe, especially, following Grant Cardone and the 10X movement and lots of other great books and lots of other great people, and also being a woman myself who is faced with obstacles all the time. And I'm definitely not perfect, but I can tell you one thing. I'm striving to be my best every day. To be better than the person that I was the day before. And that's what's most important, is that you do your best. You do your best to just continuously get better, and don't, definitely keep track of, the things that you're doing and not doing, and just strive to be your best self in all areas. So definitely, if you guys have any questions, feel free to jump on with any questions as I work out the technical difficulties here with Lorraine. All right. But yeah, so for everyone who's tuning in, thank you again. And like I said, Lorraine is having a bit of technical difficulties, but hopefully we will get her here on the air here shortly. And for our viewers who are watching today, do you guys have any questions for me with regards to real estate or the show or anything like that? I'm definitely here to answer any questions that you all may have. Um, if you have any questions with regards to, let's get that going. Let's get that going here. Okay, perfect. Alrighty, for some reason on the computer, I wasn't able to see who's all on the air, but thank you guys so very much. Monica, thank you for tuning in. Glenn, thank you for your comment. Everyone, thank you just so much for tuning in and for sharing the stream and supporting the show. It is a lot of work putting on the Keys to Success show with everything else that's going on, but it is my passion to give back and to add value and to bring great content and to share what it takes to be successful. Because I tell you one thing, it's not easy, but we keep making it, we keep showing up and we do our best to be consistent and to, break through things that happen in your life, no matter what. You just continuously break through. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it, but again, this happened last time we had Lorraine on, and I'm not quite sure. There is no link to the app. Hold on one moment, guys. There, I think we have her. Oh, we got you. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna just keep pushing forward.
I'm like, I have no problems with Zoom. Somebody was on something else yesterday. It was like Stream Live or something. No problem. So I'm sorry. And my computer's totally frozen. I can't do anything. I had to turn it off and take the battery out.
No worries whatsoever. I held it down for you 7 minutes in. I was talking about life and all the other fun stuff and my new book and all that stuff. But Lorraine, it is an absolute pleasure to finally get you on the show. I know last time we had technical difficulties, but I just sat here and said, you know what? It's going to work out. It's going to work itself out. I'm just going to wait patiently. and you worked it out. So thank you so much.
No problem. I apologize. I really, because I started getting stressed out and I can't think straight.
Yes, yep, and that's what a lot of times when it comes to just handling anything in life, we kind of just have to breathe and go, you know what, it's going to be all right.
Yep.
And you worked it out. So thank you so much for being on the show today. If you would take a moment and just introduce yourself to our viewers and tell them a little bit about who Lorraine is.
Yeah, sure. So my name's Lorraine Beato. I am a real estate entrepreneur. I am a full-time agent, a full-time investor, as best as you can do both of those. I've also written a book geared towards real estate agents. It's called Flip the Switch. You can find it on Amazon. To get real estate agents to, realize that they should be investing in the product that they sell every day. I just got back from 2 weeks of vacation. Everybody's like, man, how did you get out of town? And, how did you go to all of these places? And it's because I own multiple properties in multiple states. So that made it a whole lot easier.
Yes. And so you own multiple properties in multiple states, and you're an agent, and and an investor as well. Tell us a little bit about how you got into becoming an agent. There's so many questions I have for you. Like, how did you start off initially, and then how did you transition into becoming a real estate investor?
Sure. So I actually got my license just for kicks when I got out of college with my best friend. She's like, hey, why don't we go get our real estate license? And I said, okay, no problem. So I just did it on a whim. I didn't really do it for any other reason. I was working on Wall Street on the mortgage-backed securities trading floor. So I've been tied to real estate in some shape or form for 30 years at this point.
Wow.
And I did sales for a little bit, but I had a full-time job. And so in New York, I didn't sell, but I liked real estate so much that I went ahead and I became an appraiser. So I worked full-time, and then I did appraisals on the weekends. And I loved it. I've always loved real estate. So when we moved to Atlanta almost 25 years ago, my thought was I want to be a stay-at-home mom, and that didn't last for very long because I went from working like 80 hours a week to being home all the time, you
Wow.
know, with no family. We were new to Atlanta. Nobody, no family, no friends, no, you know, no nothing.
Wow.
Um, so there was reciprocity, and I had my license transferred,
Hmm.
and I did real estate for not quite a year because my daughter was little, and then I was pregnant with my second daughter, and I said, you know, this is it. You know, we bought bigger home for less money because I wanted to raise my kids.
Right.
But in the meantime, we bought some rentals, and I stayed up with the CE, you know, classes and all of that.
Hmm.
And I jumped back in 2003 as full time as I could because again, my end goal was I wanted to be the one to raise my kids.
Right.
And still here. And so let's see, we bought our first rentals at this point. Oh gosh, 20 some odd years ago, I think. You know, we when the downturn hit, we let them go. You know, oh 07, oh 08, and then we started investing again in 2014 in fix and flips.
Wow. 2014 to fix and flip. So during that time, you were still with your continuing education, still an agent, and just slowly but surely picking up rentals at the same time. How was that? Was it because it was something that you had already been doing that you were like, I'm not going to just be an agent. I'm also going to pick up the product I sell. Like I'm going to involve myself in this. Like what made you decide to be an investor and be an agent, or did it just make sense at the time?
So it made sense at the time, and actually, you know, I had always wanted a fix and flip, and you know, we went to one of the guru programs, and I started building my network that way, and I built a huge nationwide network.
Right.
One of the few people who did get our income back, or our investment back rather,
Right.
and it just became a fit, and it became through where a lot of the members in that group, Atlanta was starting to just take off in 2014, 2015.
Wow.
And you know, a lot of those investors would see me post, you know, uh, content and advice, and they started reaching out to me. So I created a niche actually with out of state investors where I help them acquire the property, I manage the renovation, pick the design finishes, and then put the property on the market for them. And when it was said and done, they got a check.
Wow. So you were doing the entire process. So they would be out of state and you would be the boots on the ground here designing it as well. So you would
Yes.
design the property, pick it out, help them with it, and then put it on the market. That's phenomenal.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so then that led me to one of those clients. A lot of the it's tough to fix and flip in Atlanta right now, but one of those clients had reached out. We've kept in touch, and he actually reached out to me last year and said, hey, we're looking at a 92 unit multifamily. We need to raise some capital. We're doing a syndication. Can you help us with that? And so I did that, and that kind of gave me a taste for multifamily. So I've been, you know, learning what I can about that space so that, you know, I can help future, you know, other people in the future. And we'll see, there's a lot of legislation and things that are
Yeah.
coming down the pipe that we're just in some uncertain times right now.
Right. Yeah. And I know you, with being an agent and being an investor for the length of time that you've been in the business, you've probably seen the market go through a lot of trends. What is your thoughts on the market currently and just the uncertain times and things like that, as far as how do you see the Atlanta market currently?
So I just I was on my Ren Zoom call last night with my, you know, with our 80 ladies, and
Hmm.
um you know, right now Atlanta for retail is hot. We have low inventory. It's the lowest inventory I think we've ever had. We're at like 2.5 months worth of inventory. Properties are flying off the shelf.
Right.
Still a seller's market, multiple offers, and I think time will tell. I don't think Atlanta will get hit as hard as some other markets, just
Right.
we still have a lot of people moving here. We have a lot of tech here. We have a lot of people who fortunately still have their jobs because they were able to work remotely.
Right.
So I think overall the Metro Atlanta market will be okay. It
Hmm.
will be interesting to see what happens in 6 to 12 months. I don't think we'll see anything major probably until 2021 and see what starts to happen with some of those forbearances, people who lost their jobs with COVID, who can no longer sustain, you know, they can't sustain the rents. There's also the whole rent moratorium that's going on. You know, the extra $600 a week from the pandemic unemployment ends this week. So there's just so many variables right now that it's
Right.
just really hard to tell. And then, you know, it's a contentious election year.
Right. Yeah. On top of all of it. Well, you mentioned that you were on the call with your REN network ladies that are in the group, and I absolutely signed up the last time we were on our call, and I've been on a few of their meetings. Tell us a little bit about how you got started with that and exactly what it is, because I know that there's so many ladies here in Atlanta who definitely need to have that information.
Yeah, so it was actually through a friend of mine who used to help out a lot with Think Realty, and she used to be the editor in chief of the Think Realty magazine. And
Wow.
we become really good friends. And she reached out and she's like, the Deborah Razzo wanted me to start Ren, but I have too much on my plate. She's two small kids. I think you would be perfect. So she made the introduction. I had a couple of calls with her last year, and we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary in September that we launched.
Wow.
And REN is the Women's Real Estate Network. And it's a group of, we're all female investors. It's a group run by women for women. Sorry, we don't allow the fellas in. They've got enough other places to plug into.
Mhm.
And so because of COVID and everything else, I had two meetings in person in Atlanta, but it was very poorly attended because, a lot of people are still afraid. And I get it. So the California gals, there's 3 or 4 chapters on the West Coast, and they're pretty much shut down. So we moved to virtual meetings in March, and I just plugged back into their virtual meetings because I think it's a better way to serve the folks here in Atlanta for right now
Right.
until things get somewhat back to normal. And even when I did do the meetings in person in May and June, I had both. I did that, and I was also in the virtual meeting, so people had the option to do both. But I think for right now, I'm just going to stick with it being virtual, simply because we meet in a restaurant. They block off the whole room for me, and then I feel terrible if there's only 2 or 3 of us there.
Wow. Yeah. Well, if you host it again, I will definitely be in attendance. I know the last one I was supposed to be there, and with the show, I was not able to attend, but definitely look forward to connecting more. I had, like I said, I was on one of the calls that they have. I think it's the Tuesday Nooner.
Yeah.
And the content that's on the Tuesday Nooner, these ladies are amazing. Like the information, the knowledge is like, I was like, whoa, like it's like a whole network of women you did not know existed in the real estate space. It's like, wow, it's really some powerful women, some powerhouses who really know their stuff in the market.
Yeah, and our next one, if anybody wants to take a look at it, if they look for Ren Atlanta on Meta.com, our next meeting is August 22nd. And so some people get confused because they say it's at 5 o'clock, but that's Pacific time. So it's 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, and then the Tuesday Nooner, that's
And
something, I, go ahead.
yeah, and that's at 3 o'clock. So we're changing the name because it's confusing a lot of people. Um,
Right,
and if you join the meetup group, you'll get all of the notifications, because we also have one on, I think it's the Friday one. I get them mixed up. There's a
right.
Friday one is members only, and one is open to everybody if they just want to check us out.
Right. And I think the nooner is the members only, but it's noon on the West
West
Coast, 3
Coast.
o'clock here. And so I know that it's still 3 o'clock here. And I'm always excited that it's at 3 because it's Tuesday and I post my show Tuesday at noon. So it works out perfectly.
Right. Right.
It's awesome, but that's awesome. So, and you've been doing that now for a year, and they have a big convention coming up as well.
Yeah, so we're trying to figure out what to do. Ignite was supposed to be in April, and I was all set to fly out to LA and be one of their speakers. But due to COVID, we pushed it to October.
Right.
Um, Now California, I think, is on shutdown till the end of the year, is what it looks like.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out how to make it a virtual event where people will still have the excitement, because Zoom is great, but I'm a people person. There's nothing like reaching out and touching someone. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And having that in person, just
It's
bonding and collaboration. It's just different. So we're trying to figure out the best way to do that so that everyone will still be engaged, will still get as much out of it as they possibly can.
wow. We'll definitely look forward for more information on that and the updates with the event, because I was definitely looking forward to attending Ignite. I'm like, yes, front row. I definitely want to get all that information. So, along with being an agent, an investor, and it's like, what is your position with the REN Network? You are for Atlanta.
I'm the Atlanta chapter leader.
So, the chapter leader of the REN Network here in Atlanta. Tell us
Correct.
a little bit about some of your keys to success for holding all of that together, because that's a lot, and being a mother and a wife.
Oh, I don't sleep. It's a lot. And so one of the things that I'm trying to figure out is, how do I leverage some of the things that I do have going on? And I've actually, just hired someone to help me with a few things because it is a lot. And I go 24/7. I mean, I was out of town for 2 weeks, which was great, but I still worked most of it.
Right,
And I'm a little bit of a control freak, so I have a hard time handing things over to other people.
right.
And I just go. I mean, that's just how I'm wired. I'm just a driven person. And thank God my husband's the cook, so I don't have to worry about making dinner.
That's awesome.
And I'm at the point that my girls are pretty much, I mean, they're grown. My youngest is in actually DC doing an internship. She'll be home in 2 weeks, and she's going into her second year of law school. So I don't have little ones anymore either, because if I had to worry about everything that I'm doing and have to, do distance learning now with the schools closed,
Right,
I don't know what I would do.
right. Yeah, I know for me, I have little ones, and my daughter, we were looking at desks the other day. So we're going to set up a whole school area in our home. And I said, well, when we go into the guest room, it'll look like a school. So we're getting desks and we're going to put things on the wall. And, I guess we'll just have to make it work. And I'll definitely probably have to hire a tutor to come in, because there's no way to do it all on your own. It's just impossible to do all of that and work at the same time.
Yeah, I think a lot of women are going to find themselves in a really tough spot this coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and here in Atlanta, August, like you said, the next couple of weeks things are going and it's getting started. It's like, okay, it's a reality of things happening. But I know one thing that I said with my daughters is because things are virtual, that gives you the opportunity, though COVID is happening, to travel and do more outside events and more field trips with, where you can incorporate your style of learning with the kids. So hopefully, it'll be something that's fun and exciting for the little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said, hiring someone, delegating tasks. What are some of your other keys to success? Like, do you start your day with a certain type of um, ritual? Do you work out? Are you a reader? What are some of your other keys to success to what you do?
I don't work out, but I should. I need to get back to my yoga classes because the yoga place is still closed.
Right,
Um, what are my rituals? I'm kind of a throw whatever you can at me type of gal. I'm not systematic. I'm not scheduled at all. First thing I do in the morning though when I get up is, I grab my phone, and when I'm up, I'm on.
right,
I got some friends that get up, they go have their coffee, they did no. When I'm up, I'm up and running, pretty
right.
much till I'm done. And I'm a night owl. I'm not a morning person, so I do get my sleep. That's the one thing. I need my 8 hours of sleep, or I'm no good to anybody.
Wow, that is awesome stuff. So you have to get your rest, keep
I
it
have to
going,
rest.
and nonstop, and definitely having a spouse that's there to support you. And like you said, your husband's your cook. How long have you guys been married, and how important is it to have a supportive spouse that is there to support you throughout the things that you have going on within your business?
I think it's huge. So we have our 30th anniversary coming up in October.
Wow.
So a very long time. He's pretty much always made dinner, which is great because when we lived in New York, I worked in Manhattan. I'd get home at 7 o'clock at night, and he worked locally. He worked for GM. That's how he came to Atlanta.
Hmm.
And he loves to cook. And, I'm totally fine with that. I don't love it. I don't hate it. But if it can be done for me, then it just kind of keeps me on task with everything else.
Right.
And he's really good. I mean, it's been a long time. It's been 30 years. He knows to let me be me,
Mm.
and he lets me be me and supports me pretty much in everything that I do. And I really think that that's huge. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have our battles, and there's times he tells me I'm off the wall and I'm crazy. He also keeps me in check when we're on vacation. He's like, you've got to get off your phone. Like I'm taking your phone. You're not talking to anybody for the next couple of hours.
Wow.
And that helps me keep some balance.
Wow. And so, what would you say is the secret to a 30-year marriage? To the people who are watching who've only been married for a year, what would you say is that secret?
It's not always easy. You will have your arguments. Um, just talk it through. Sometimes you just need to walk away and settle down. And this isn't easy. I mean, I know so many people that get married and they're like, oh well, sorry, this didn't work out. It's work. I mean, you have to work at it.
Right.
And It's not, we've had our great times, we've had our bad times. I mean, was out of work for 3 years. I carried the boat for a year. He got a job, he lost it again. So it's just understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses,
Mm,
and how do you get those to work together?
wow. So working together and understanding each other, that's so important.
You
Well,
know,
I
and
want to,
patient, and if and I can blow up sometimes. I'll be the first one to say. I mean, I'll go, excuse my language, ape shit, but it's kind of then it's out of my system and I'm done.
right. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm back now.
Exactly.
That's awesome. And I mean, I guess that's a part of it. With being with someone, you have your ups and downs, you work it out, you talk it through. And like you said, you walk away, you come back, and then you keep it moving forward. Did you guys in the beginning set a plan to say, 30 years from now, this is our goal, this is our real estate goal, this is our portfolio goal? Is that something that is important in your life, is setting that long term plan?
It wasn't 30 years ago. Real estate was always something that I was interested in, but we didn't really start looking at that goal. Um, like I said, it was about 2010,
Hmm.
and I was more entrenched. And I was, prior to us starting to fix and flip, I was helping my good friend, buy at the steps, at the courthouse steps. I
Right,
was helping fix and flips, and we thought, this will be a great retirement plan
right.
for when my husband retired from GM, and that's kind of when it really started to kick in, and we started to do the investing.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Well, I'm sure you're glad you did it. One last thing I want to discuss before we get off is your new book. So, as an agent, you said, you know what? I want to be an investor, but I also want to show other agents what it means to be an investor and an agent. Can you tell us a little bit about the book?
Yeah, so I didn't set out to plan on writing a book. I had spoken at several boot camps, and at Flipology, and I started having real estate agents reach out to me. I post pictures on my Instagram, hey, I'm helping new investors, or I had a mentee that I helped do his first fix and flip, and I started having agents just reach out to me actually on Instagram. They started direct messaging me saying, hey, I didn't know you taught real estate agents how to flip properties, and I was like, well, I don't, but I can.
Right.
Well, as that kind of started to evolve, a good friend of mine kept saying, "You should really write a book. You should really write a book." And I'm like, "I've never written a book in my life,
Right.
but I like to write." So I did. I did that. I wrote the book. And then what really pushed me over the edge was a year ago. I had a conversation with a good friend of mine who is an agent,
Mhm.
and she was turning 60. And she's like, "Girl, I'm going to have to sell houses till I die, and,
Mhm.
all this other stuff." And I asked her why. And then, as that uncomfortable conversation went along, you know, she's not planned for retirement. Most real estate agents don't. They have their transaction, they get their money, they spend it, they pay bills, they do whatever, but they don't think about reinvesting, that money, or even setting up a retirement account, even if it's not real estate, even if you go invest in something else. And, as I sat down and talked to another very good friend of mine, we started at Harry Norman together, almost 25 years ago. And we come from the financial services background. And, she sat down and she says, you really have a lot of assets. You've got a pretty healthy net worth. And I never thought about it, and I said, you've got a good point. So I just started writing down some of my experiences. I have 4 case studies of how I acquired some properties, in my book, and to show real estate agents that there are multiple ways to invest in real estate. It's not just, fix and flips. It's not just rentals. They can joint venture. If they have a big team of 20 people and they love what they do, um, they can joint venture and be hands off. They can be private lenders. There's tax lien investing. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can invest in real estate that I don't think real estate agents actually even realize it.
Wow.
Um, and that's actually the feedback I got on one of the my reviews on Amazon. This gentleman's like, this was the kick in the pants I needed to really get going and start thinking about my future and myself and my family and building wealth for them. So that just really touched my heart because I had no idea it made that kind of an impact.
Wow, that is amazing. Congratulations to you on writing it. With your book, is it on Amazon or is it hard copy as well?
I'm sorry.
With the book, is it on Amazon or
It's called
hard copy as
it's
well?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. You can get the Kindle edition or the paperback. And it's called Flip the Switch from Real Estate Agent to Real Estate Investor. And it's a quick read. It's like 85 pages. So it's easy, digestible. And at some point, the plan is to maybe create a course and do a deep dive. So that was the other feedback I got. Oh, I'd love a deep dive on some of the topics. So somewhere down the line.
I love it. I love it. And so with the book, how long did it take you to write? Because I know with my new book, Clear to Close, it took, with starting and stopping, it took about a year to complete. How long did it take you to write your book?
It was pretty quick. I started in September and I finished it in January.
Well,
And it was formatted and all that in February. And then I launched it April 1st.
Wow, that is amazing. So you kind of just sat down and said, let me do it,
Yep.
right, and knocked it out.
That's exactly.
I need to talk to you more about how you did that process. I know for me, it definitely took some time, but I think starting and going back to it and, just really making sure that it was done the way that I wanted to have it done. But it was a lot of work, but definitely very rewarding.
Yeah. I loved it. So I've had people ask me to do a different iteration. So I might be working on that, finding the time to do it and to move. Because one of the things I'm trying to do is move from fix and flip into new construction. And doing some due diligence on that. And I've got a builder who said, hey, let's, why don't we do a new iteration of your book? And I said, okay, yeah, we can do that. So we'll see.
Awesome. So more to come. Well, I want to thank you, Lorraine, so very much for being on the show today. And thank you to our viewers for tuning in. Monica, thank you for tuning in. Siobhan Franklin, thank you so very much for tuning in. And Lorraine, thank you for taking the time out of your afternoon. I know you said you had a lot going on with your clients earlier, but you took the time and definitely got on the line, and I appreciate it 110%. And thank you for hosting the REN Network events. Like I said, it's opened my eyes. I had no idea. And I've been in real estate investing here in Atlanta for 7 years. And I'm like, what? Another women's group? I had no idea. I'm so excited. I love connecting with like-minded women. So thank you so very much for all that you do for the women and for the real estate agents as well.
Well, and thank you. It's been a pleasure. And again, I apologize. I am so sorry. Technology is not my thing, clearly. And thank you for your patience. And I'm honored that you had me on the show.
Oh, no problem, no problem. And definitely look forward to doing more with you in the near future. And to our viewers, remember, Keys to Success show is live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 noon. And Lorraine, before we go, where can our viewers connect with you? What's the best way to get a hold of you if it's an agent and they have any questions, or if they want to purchase your book?
Yep. So they can purchase the book straight on Amazon. Just go to Amazon.com and put in Flip the Switch from Real Estate Agent to Real Estate Investor, or Switch Lorraine Beato. And best right now is probably to shoot me an email at lorrainebeato@gmail.com. And then if you can drop it, it's BEATO. And my website is also lorrainebeato.com. So lorrainebeato@gmail.com and lorrainebeato.com are probably the easiest right now.
Well, Lorraine Beato, thank you so very much. And I think I mispronounced your last name earlier in the show, so I now have it down packed. Lorraine Beato, thank you so very much for being on the show today. To our viewers, thank you so very much for tuning in. Until next time, it is your girl, Ms Lee, coming to you live, the Keys to Success show. We'll see you guys soon. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.